Hello everyone and welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It is time for another starting 11 prediction video for Sunday's game at Easter Road against Hibs. It's the two informed teams in the league. Hibs have obviously been great form under Paul Heckingbottom. They've played 8 in the league, won 6 and drawn 2. They've only had that one defeat, which was of course to Celtic in the Scottish Cup quarter-finals. So we know that they're in good form. It's going to be a tough game going through there. We did manage to get the win in the Scottish Cup quarter-finals. Obviously, we played well that day, particularly in the second half. Interesting to see how Hibs are going to set up this time. I think that was only a few games into Heckingbottom's reign, and there was still a bit of uncertainty with the Hibs fans there. But fast forward a couple of months, and it's a totally different story. They've just beaten Hearts at Tynecastle for the first time in 6 years. They're on a great run of form, and as I say, over the last 8 matches, they are joint top of the form table with ourselves. So we'll get right into the team. Don't expect too many changes from last week's comprehensive win over Aberdeen, but we'll start in goals. Scott Bain he was an absolute spectator last week. Scott Bain, absolutely nothing to do, no shots on target for Aberdeen. He might be called upon in this one, but we know that he's going to be in there regardless. On to right back, I thought Lustig would start last week. He did. He played well. Again, I haven't written him off, as I think we all done, because we were expecting big things from Toljan when he came in that just haven't materialised. I think the right back position is Lustig's now. At least until the end of the season. We still don't know what's happening with his contract. There's talk of a 1-year extension. He hasn't signed it yet, but I expect him to continue at right back, because as I say, he hasn't done anything wrong recently, certainly since Lenny came back in. On to centre half, we seen a virtuoso performance for Jozo Simunovic last weekend. I thought he could almost have had a hat-trick. Started the game really brightly. He was carrying the ball forward into the gaps in midfield, which we usually expect for Christopher Ajer. I thought he was really good. Be interesting to see if he can build on that and really stake his place the next month or so coming into the end of the season, and get himself to being the first choice centre back at the start of next season into the qualifiers. With Christopher Ajer, that's obviously a position in the team that we would need a massive rebuild in the summer. But it'll be interesting to see if Jozo can build on that performance for last week. And beside him, of course, Christopher Ajer. Again, we've got some injuries in that part of the pitch, with Boyata obviously out for the rest of the season, basically. We could see Benkovic come into one of these two positions. I don't expect it though. I think based on last week's performance, the two of them were brilliant, so they'll continue. Left back, KT, as it always is. He didn't foray forward too much last weekend. I thought whenever he did, Johnny Hayes provides that cover, that defensive cover that Sinclair or Weir definitely don't have, because Johnny Hayes has got experience playing in that position at left back. Maybe what we're seeing is Tierney's fitness starting to wear. Obviously we know he's had the problems with injury. Maybe that's why he wasn't advancing forward so much last week. Maybe it was just because Johnny Hayes was staying so high and wide. But I expect KT to start in this one. In the midfield, Scott Brown, of course, alongside him Callum McGregor, front runner for Player of the Year. I think it's a toss-up between him and James Forrest. I've voted for Forrest myself. You can let me know in the comments below who you think the Player of the Year will be. I think Forrest, to have contributed 17 goals and 20 assists at this stage of the season, is remarkable. So he's just pipped McGregor, but I expect Brown and McGregor to be in midfield. In front of them, to replace Ryan Christie, I'm going to go Tom Rogic. We've seen him come off the bench to replace Christie after his injury on Sunday at Hampden. Got his goal. I thought he's still getting up to speed. We know that. He's always had these problems with fitness. He just needs game time. I think this is a good opportunity for him to get that. Obviously, Christie's going to be out now until, well, in fact, for the rest of the season. I think Neil Lennon confirmed today that he is out for the rest of the season with that facial injury. He needs some surgery. So Christie's out. This means we'll see more of Rogic, let him get his fitness and his sharpness back. We could see more of Encham as well. I expect to see both of them a lot more frequently up to the end of the season, but I think it'll be Rogic in this one. Right wing, I've just mentioned him. Player of the year, or my player of the year, James Forrest. Sensational goal last week. He seems to be, this is something he's really added to his game in the past few years. He seems to be scoring big goals, and that was something that, going through the early stages of his career, he didn't always do. He wasn't one for the big games when he was younger. He had a lot of problems with injuries. What we're seeing now is him coming into his peak. He's injured so much less. He features a lot more, and most importantly, he's scoring big goals at big times. And that goal last week was absolutely sensational, as I said. So he'll continue at right wing. Left wing, Johnny Hayes. He was good last week. He was very good. There's always a wee bit of trepidation when he's been picked so far by Neil Lennon, but you can't argue with it. He's justifying his selection, particularly with performances like last week. And if nothing else, he done the press conference today, so I fancy him to start this one as well. And up top, Odsonne Edouard, no doubt about that. Again, I thought he was good last week. The game was so easy for us that he just kind of sailed through it. He dispatched the penalty. That's something that we've had massive problems with this year, so it was good to see somebody put a penalty away. And apart from that, his all-round game was good. Still developing. To be hitting 20 goals when you consider the injuries he's had this season is brilliant. We need a big performance from him at Easter Road, because we know it's going to be tough. As I say, interesting, Hibs, they were quite cautious the last time they played us. I don't know if they're going to approach the game the same this weekend, because they're obviously high in confidence with the results that they've had. But I think Edouard's a stick on up top, and if we play to our level, we will be comfortable winners. And of course, we could win the league, depending on what happens at Tynecastle on Saturday. We'll keep our fingers crossed for that one, but all we can do is take care of our own job and get 3 points in Edinburgh on Sunday. That's it for this week's Starting 11 prediction video. You know what to do. Like the video, comment your own thoughts below. Who do you think would replace Christie? Your own Starting 11s, pop them in the comments box below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We're over 14,000 now, which is absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much for the continued support, and we'll see you at Easter Road on Sunday. Hail, hail.